Hello.
Hi guys. How will companies survive in the COVID pandemic?
Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Rushil Kelapure.
Hi, my name is Rushil Kelapure. I'm one of the principal architects in VMware Pivotal Labs. And today we are going to do Tanzu in a nutshell with Rushil. Okay, that's fine. That's the point. Okay, Rushil, do you have any questions?
How will companies survive in the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, so Rushil, you know that there's been a lot of stuff going on with COVID, right?
Obviously.
Okay, so two things, right? One is companies are looking to increase revenue, right?
Yes.
So they want to make revenue, and in some cases they are looking to decrease cost, right?
Why decrease costs?
Well, decrease cost, Rushil, because they are not making as much money as they used to, right? If there are no customers, then if the business has to survive, you have to reduce your cost, right? The cost of that product per unit has to go down.
What if there's a flock, like a flock of people, but you still have less money? That is the bad.
But nobody's going. Some of these businesses like restaurants or air travel, nobody's going there anymore. So these businesses are facing headwinds, as a result of which they have to reduce cost, right?
Yes.
And in some cases, they have to increase revenue too. Ultimately, company exists to make money, right?
Yes.
So companies have to do this regardless of pandemic or not, right? So they are facing a lot of headwinds, right?
Yes.
So a lot of employees who are not remote are remote now, right? So they are going to a remote only culture. Right?
Like you.
No, I was remote before too. Remember?
What?
Yeah, when I was a services only when I was doing customer engagements. Remember, I used to travel, but then between customer engagements, we were always remote. But so remote only is not is a new thing for some customers.
Between January, after January.
Okay. So increase revenue and decrease cost. So our company is VMware, right? Specifically, we work in VMware Pivotal Labs. So the question is, how can we help the companies that VMware helps to increase revenue and decrease cost?
What is Tanzu?
What is Tanzu? Okay, so let's get there. So
I know you've been talking about Tanzu when you've done work. Right. I don't know what in the world that is.
Okay, so Tanzu has three aspects. Okay, so Tanzu is a portfolio of products. Got it?
Yes.
It's a set of products that allow enterprises to build better software and to increase revenue and decrease cost. Okay.
Is that a programming language?
No, Tanzu is not a programming language. Tanzu is a suite of products, right? You know Roblox. Roblox has a bunch of games.
It's not Roblox. It's Roblox.
Roblox, right? So Roblox has a bunch of games, right? And you can play whichever game you want, whenever you want, and you get different things out of it. Tanzu, like that, is a set of products. Now, there are these products break down into three big categories. There is the build aspect of the products. There is a set of products around manage and a set of products around run. Okay? Build, manage, and run. So
hey,
I'm going to read.
Just like how I make my marble races. Go and see the end if you want to see it.
Right. So I'm gonna draw three boxes here now. First box is gonna be the build box, right? Then we are gonna do the run box over here, and then we are gonna do the manage box over here. Okay? So you said that Tanzu is a programming language. Tanzu is not a programming language, but you know what is a programming language? JavaScript is a programming language. Java is a programming language. The stuff that you use for Minecraft, right? Yes. Right. So what do we?
Also the stuff that I use for scripting. again. Watch till the end.
Okay, yeah. So when we develop applications in Java, we use what is known as the Spring framework. Now, you know the Spring framework is the number one Java framework in the world.
What is framework?
A framework is a set of things that make it easy to write a program. Okay. A framework makes your life easy so that you can focus on the fun stuff and not focus so much on the internal plumbing stuff. Got it?
Okay.
So Spring framework is the number one Java framework in the world. And VMware, and before that Pivotal has the most number of committers to the Spring framework. We maintain the community.
Is that good?
Yeah, we maintain this open source framework so that all the developers can use Spring framework to write code very fast to develop their applications.
Then why did people get sold to VMware?
That's a different. We will get to that later. Next to Spring framework, right, is you wanted that Windows laptop, right? So on Windows, you use the .NET programming language. So just like how you use the Spring framework with Java, in the Windows land, you use this framework called the .NET Core. And both Java apps and Windows and .NET apps run very well on you need a platform to run these applications, right?
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of platforms to run these applications. The first thing is called TAS, called Tanzu Application Service. Can
you write it down below that, like Tanzu Application Service?
Sure, Tanzu Application Service. And this is called TKG. It's called Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. And the last one is Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. This comes in various flavors, just like how ice cream comes in various flavors. There is TKGI, there is TKG, there is TKG Plus, and another thing called vSphere Kubernetes. Or it's called Kubernetes add-on for vSphere. Got it?
Yes.
So these are the platforms where you can run your applications on. TAS, TKG, TKGI. So these platforms, once you install in your company, say we started a new company tomorrow, we can run our Java applications. We can run, in fact, any kind of applications. And these platforms make it really easy, Rushil, to run applications, to package them, to scale them, to manage their security, to auto-scale these applications, to create newer applications, to host them in the cloud, right? Basically, you don't have, other than writing an application, all the other day-to operations of managing the application are handled by these platforms. Okay, so there are a bunch of platforms now. TAS is one flavor of the platform, and then the other flavors of the platform are TKG, all those TKG flavors. Got it?
I get it.
Two big flavors.
I get it. Just
yeah. So where do these? So these platforms have to run on some infrastructure, right?
Yes.
Then you need compute, you need storage, you need networking. Yes. So where do you think these things run on?
Java?
No, you need hardware, right? Like where is your hardware coming from? So
from Apple. From Apple.
No, not from Apple.
And Microsoft.
So when you run, yeah. So if you run so these things have to run the platforms, Kubernetes and these are all Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry platforms. They run on different clouds. Like let's pick a different service. So they can run on Azure. They can run on AWS. They can run just like how you have laptops at home. Companies have server infrastructure. So and that is managed. I
know what a server is.
Right. So all that server infrastructure is managed by a software and a hypervisor that is built by VMware. It's called vSphere. So there's stuff in the cloud like Azure and AWS and GCP, right? And then there is stuff that is and then there is the server that is at home, right? That is in the data center. So these platforms, right? The platform that we have, Tanzu Application Service, They run on any cloud on any data center infrastructure. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you build an application, you run the application, right?
Yes.
Everything is taken care of for you.
Manage box yet.
So manage part, right? You need a dashboard to manage your applications, correct?
Yes.
So what happens if the performance of an application goes down? You need to get visibility into why the application
You
is
see
down.
the reviews, you see what the customers say about it,
Right.
you take the feedback.
Right. So there is a product called Tanzu Wavefront. Really love the name. It's called Wavefront. Okay. Also known as Tanzu Observability. Okay. This is awesome. It gives you immediate insight into what is happening with the applications and the containers running on your platform.
Yes.
It gives you metrics, histograms, high cardinality data,
Yes.
everything you need to know. If a response is not coming out, where exactly in the set of microservices stuff has gone wrong. Okay. We also have other things called Tanzu Mission Control. What does the name tell you? Mission Control. It's cool, right? Okay. Tanzu Mission Control allows you
It's
to
basically like a hub. That's
Yeah.
my guess.
Yeah, it's like a hub that manages these Kubernetes clusters and application server clusters and task
guess.
clusters across all the clouds.
That was my guess.
Because if you have a Kubernetes cluster on like different clouds, including Amazon or Google, you need a single pane of glass to manage security, to enforce policies.
Yes.
Remember how we set a same time a face, what is that called? Screen time policy across all our devices, kind of similar to that.
Hey, fun fact. I cracked the watermark. I won't tell you why.
Okay, but you have to enforce policies, consistent security policies, consistent policies for egress, ingress, security, configuration, audit, right?
Yeah.
All those policies, and you need a uniform way to create a cluster, manage the life cycle of the cluster, update the cluster, do disaster recovery, backup. Tanzu Mission Control is your hub that allows you to do all that.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes.
And the third part of managing this of managing our of Tanzu is there is an aspect here called Tanzu Service Mesh. Okay. Now Tanzu Service Mesh it's a service mesh. So what it does is there's a set of applications, a set of services that are running on Kubernetes or on Cloud Foundry. Tanzu Service Mesh allows applications to discover one another. Hey, I'm a Minecraft service one. I can find if your other friend is a service, I can discover that service. I can talk to that service.
Yes.
So discover, communicate. I can see how much traffic exists between different services across different clusters. I can enforce audits. I can do compliance. I can look at logs of how services interact with one another. What if one Minecraft server is on Kubernetes on Amazon and another Minecraft server is on the Kubernetes cluster on vSphere? How will they communicate with each other? This Tanzu Service Mesh weaves a mesh so that all the applications and all the containers can discover one another seamlessly and enforce security policies, right? You want to enforce security policy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So another aspect of build, right? That coming back to build is that we skipped a couple of things, Rushil. One is we have what is known as, along with Spring applications, a Tanzu build service. What does the Tanzu build service do?
I don't know. It builds applications.
That's right. It builds applications in using build packs. It builds applications not only
just like Marvel packs.
Right. So they
watch to the end of the video again.
So it builds applications with build packs, but that's not all it does. It does it in a declarative fashion so that when the containers get built, right, or when those container images are built, and any of the source or any of the dependencies of the application change, right, those changes are then bubbled up back to the container and a new image of the container is built. So the idea is that you always keep building a new image of the container if any of the downstream dependencies change. And this is huge because if there is a security vulnerability, then you have to rebuild your container image with the newer JDK or with the newer Spring framework, right?
Yeah.
Just like how you update the operating system when the new vulnerability comes out, right? Like Apple releases updates. Just like that, container images for applications have to be built automatically as soon as the underlying dependencies like Java, then the JDK, or any OS level dependency change. So that is the Tanzu build service. Got it?
Okay.
And last thing on the build side is a thing called TAC, Tanzu Application Catalog. Now, Tanzu Application Catalog is like, hey, I need to build an image of a container, right? I need to run some software in the cloud, like Minecraft. Then am I going to assemble all the bits and pieces from scratch? Am I going to start with the Linux image and then I'm going to put Java on it? Then I'm going to build a Minecraft server. Then I'm going to deploy the Minecraft server.
Oh no!
You know how Minecraft is complicated? Like Minecraft, deploying a Minecraft server properly is complicated business.
No,
right?
I get the example from deploying my algorithm. Again, watch till the end of the video.
Okay.
It's really hard to do it. Start from bits and pieces.
So when you start from bits and pieces, you have to self-assemble everything. But what if you already had an application catalog, just like how Netflix has all these movies? You just click and say, okay, I want this container, just deploy this for me. That's what Tanzu Application Catalog is. It is the world's leading repository of all open source databases and images, and it has pre-packaged images, and it basically is a catalog of containers, of deployments, of these. It's a catalog of products that you can use to deploy containers in a very opinionated, secure fashion onto Kubernetes or VMs. Got it? So Tanzu Application Catalog is like the Netflix of open source container databases, services, and so on. Got it?
Yes.
So build has the application. So build has Tanzu build service, the application catalog, then Spring and .NET Core are kind of the frameworks that we provide,
yes,
that everyone builds with, but you need application catalog and TBS to flush things out, and then you run it on Kubernetes or on Cloud Foundry, and then you manage it with service mesh, mission control, and with. Got it?
Yeah. Can I just?
No. Yeah. No more questions.
I just wanted to write on the board.
Okay.
What is Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry?
So Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry are two.
I'm thinking we need to move.
Yeah, you'll be getting this right. Okay, what's the difference between Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes, right? Cloud Foundry, this is what I used to work on before. Still pretty good, but there's a new kid in town called Kubernetes, right? So big topic, Rushil, right? I mean, it's like, remember I got those Kubernetes certifications?
No.
The developer ones and the operator ones? CKAD and CK.
Watch his other videos!
Okay, so Cloud Foundry is more opinionated, Rushil, right? It tells you to do things in a certain way, right? It's fully integrated, and it comes with like, it comes with build packs, it has metrics, it's got integrated services, it's got everything you need to write a Java application and hook it up with a big database, right? Like, and hook it up with a database and deploy all this onto VMs, right? Now these become containers so this becomes a container, right? So Cloud Foundry provides a end-to-end vertically integrated, batteries included, engineered experience for developing applications at a very high speed, right?
Yes.
It comes with build packs included. It was earlier there was a software called Heroku, Cloud Foundry kind of is like the on-premise version of Heroku. Am I losing you?
Yes.
So what? So
You
think
have
when
to.
so Cloud Foundry, right?
So they-
Fast, opinionated. If you do things the way Cloud Foundry wants, and was awesome at writing greenfield applications. So if you were to write applications in a cloud native fashion with 12 factors and 15 factors, you use Cloud Foundry, right?
Is Cloud Foundry better or worse?
It's not better or worse. It's like Cloud Foundry is like mint chocolate chip, and Kubernetes is mint like mocha chocolate ice
Okay, then I choose Cloud Foundry.
cream. Okay, not so fast. Kubernetes allows you to break down things, Rushil, and make them highly customizable. So if things can't run in Cloud Foundry, they certainly can run in Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is more flexible, it's more declarative, it's more open. Um, that's why developers love this, because Cloud Foundry, even though you can be very, very productive with it, a certain type or class of applications struggled in Cloud Foundry. Kubernetes is super extensible, super open. You can do whatever you want in it, and that's why Kubernetes is kind of winning. And it's declarative. I mean, you don't understand what this is, but basically declarative means you have to tell Kubernetes, this is how I want the state of the world, and Kubernetes automatically makes it so, right? So these are two different platforms. And remember, TAS is Cloud Tanzu Application Service is Cloud Foundry, and we have three flavors of Kubernetes: TKG, TKG Plus, which is open source, which are closer to the open source Kubernetes, and then we have TKGI, which is PKS, and then it is included with vSphere software, VMware Software Foundation 4. It's part of vSphere. So this is Kubernetes is part of vSphere itself. So you can get Kubernetes in many different ways. Okay. What other questions do you have? Did you understand Cloud Foundry versus Kubernetes?
Yes.
Good. Okay, cool.
What is the best part of Tanzu?
Best part of Tanzu. Okay, let's go there. Let's open another one.
Like in the mint chocolate chip ice cream.
So Tanzu, Rushil, remember, has multiple different things. Let's just recap. Tanzu has like the platforms EAS, TKG, TKG Plus, and K8's add-on for vSphere, right? Then we got the Pivot um, Tanzu Build Service,
Of
TBS.
course.
Then we have Tanzu Application Catalog, EAC, right? Just like EAC in Finding Nemo. And then we got our Tanzu Wavefront, observability, and then there's Tanzu Mission Control, right? Like the Mission Control movies from Tom Cruise. What else am I? Did I miss anything? And yeah, Tanzu Service Mesh, TSM, right?
There we go.
So my favorite part of this portfolio is Tanzu Wavefront.
I know why.
Why?
Because you said it's awesome.
It's awesome because, and you know what, Rushil? If you have a Spring Boot application, you put the in the Spring Boot application, you go to spring.initializer.io, and you plug in and you pick the Wavefront dependency. It automatically starts sending with Spring Boot actuators.
Whoa!
It automatically starts sending your metrics and histograms and creates a free account in Wavefront. And you don't even have to put a credit card
What's
for
your second best? What's the second choice for you?
Second choice, I would say it's a oldie but a goodie is TAS, Tanzu Application Service. A lot of people, so you can just CF push your application here. It gets like immediate productivity. It's kind of it's and you know what, Rushil? What they are doing is they are taking TAS and we will be running it both on VMs and on Kubernetes. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So what in the future, how this is going to look is that you can have all the flavors of ice cream all mixed together. So
Ooh, yummy.
So like for instance, if say this was TAS, this is going to run on top of Kubernetes.
Maybe you can make the boxes mixed together.
Yeah, and then below this is what is known as cluster API, right? And below this is infrastructure. So all the clouds and vSphere live here. Right now, what happens is TAS. So this is the called TAS for Kubernetes, and this is TAS for VMs. This one uses a layer called BOSH,
Maybe you should redraw the clouds.
and then yeah, sorry, I know. vSphere. This is cloud, and this is vSphere. Okay. Okay, we took a digression here, but it's okay. Let's move on. What's your next question?
How does Tanzu play a role in a developer's daily life?
Okay, so I write my Java program, right?
Yeah.
I need to make a container, isn't it?
Yes.
So how do I make a container? I use Tanzu build service and get myself a secure container. Okay. But I also need a database. Where will I get a database from? What of those 7 parts, what is the part that gives me a secure database container? Can you tell me?
I don't know.
The catalog?
The catalog?
Yeah. So I need a database. So let's say I need the no, Rushil?
It's boring.
No.
Fine.
Okay. Okay, so then what happens is that you get the this is Minecraft, so you need a database, right? So for database, what are you going to use? Tanzu application catalog, and now you have a database, correct?
Yay.
So build service gives you a container, the TAC gives you a database, and where are you going to run this on? What platform?
Tanzu.
No, but what
Java.
run part of Tanzu?
Java?
No. Remember those platforms? What platform will you pick? Yeah. How about we pick you pick EAS
Yes.
or TKG? Where do you want to run it on Cloud Foundry or on Kubernetes?
Let's try both and see what happens from TAS.
No, you have to pick one. You don't run it typically on both. So let's assume
TKG.
let's pick Kubernetes, right? So now I have Kubernetes. How do I know my app is running correctly? I send my metrics out to Wavefront, right?
Yeah.
So now I have Tanzu observability, right? So I have built my application correctly. I have deployed it to a database correctly. I can monitor it correctly. What if my Kubernetes cluster is dying? How would I know that? Or if I have to set up permissions, then I have to use mission control, right? So then I will use mission control to first create my cluster and make sure that it has access, that container can talk to the database, and all this can run on TKG. So then I have TMC. So with TMC and Wavefront and TBS and TAC, you can then make sure that your life is smooth, that you can just be writing Java code and and Flybase scripts to initialize the database and focus on this side, which is the value creation part of your in your company, right? This is all the stuff that is kind of below the value line that VMware will take care of for you. Okay, last question.
What? Why can't I give more questions?
Okay, you can have more questions.
We don't have more time.
Okay. Yeah. What question do you have?
Pivotal gone now. What do you do?
So I am Rushil. Pivotal is not gone. It's gotten bigger and better, right? It's gotten bigger and better. It was got acquired by VMware. Remember?
Yeah. So it's gone.
I mean, it's gone in that it's gotten acquired by its parent, right? And Rushil, now it's gotten even bigger because now we are tackling bigger projects. So I work in Pivotal App Modernization, right?
What is that?
Pivotal Labs App Modernization part of VMware.
What is it called?
So Pivotal Labs App Modernization, right, helps migrate applications to the cloud.
Yes.
So you have an application, right, that doesn't run today. It does not run. We make changes to the application and make it run on the cloud. We make some more changes so that it runs great on the cloud. And then if you want, we can also break it down into smaller applications called microservices that make it very easy to then modify, make changes and evolve the application. So then it becomes.
You made a presentation on it.
Which one?
On Google Drive.
What, on microservices?
Yeah, microservices is one with.
Yeah.
That one.
That one. Yeah.
That one. I will give you a friendly reminder. I wrote proof in one of the words.
Okay. Rushil, so listen here. So labs is the best at taking big applications.
Yes.
And either evolving them or taking them as is. We do what our customers want. And why do we do things? What is the first thing I told you? Increase revenue, decrease cost. So that existing application, if it is not evolving, if you are not able to make changes to it,
it'll die.
It will die. So you have to make it cloud native. You have to make it better. You have to make, and in order to make it cloud native, you have to sometimes make changes to it. You have to break it apart. That's what Pivotal Labs does. We work with customers to catalyze enterprise transformation. Repeat after me. What do we do? Catalyze
enterprise
transformation. Okay. I think that is enough for the day.
Now,
do you have any last things that you want to say before we end the video?
I have a lot of last things.
Just say it.
Just I'm adding a new page.
Yeah. Wait, 5 seconds. No, 5 seconds.
So please subscribe to Algodo Racing. I'll go and show it to you on YouTube. Now search up.
Okay, folks know how to search YouTube.
Racing. I'm just. It's this one. It's this one. Algodo Racing. See, latest from Algodo Racing. I'll give you a sample.
Okay, can you please say? I think we are done on time. Rushil, can you please say thank you? Can you please say that? Look here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening.